Hey everyone and welcome to the video. So the November patch for Saints Row has been out for a decent bit of time now, and I've finally been able to sit down and play it for a while. And I've got very conflicting thoughts, and I've got some goods and I've got some bads. And today I really want to just kind of talk about it and express my feelings towards the patch and what I think needs to be done moving forward, as well as what was done well here today. So first of all, let's start off with some good points, okay? Because I think we do need a bit of positivity. I like the new garage system. The way they have made it so you can list your cars is really cool, really handy, and quite frankly, I much prefer it to the huge ass list that you had to go through. It's nice that I can kind of categorize the cars I actually like, instead of having random cars that we have gotten in previous Saints Row games, just kind of scattered in between. There's plenty of vehicles in the new Saints Row I'm not going to be using, and I hate that I have to keep scrolling past them to get to the cars I will be using, and what they have done here has completely eliminated that. So that is a huge bonus, and quite frankly, it's definitely one of those quality of life changes I'm going to appreciate. Another big bonus for me, and it's something that I personally feel has had the biggest improvement, although I don't think it's perfect, is the co-op system. The co-op definitely just feels a bit more stable. Now, by no means is it flawless, and by no means is it perfect, but I can at least casually play with a co-op partner and not have too many crashes or disconnects, and you know, it was leagues better than what it was before, but I still think there's some work to be done. But quite frankly, connecting to games is a lot easier, and it's basically just not tragic anymore, which is, you know, a good point for sure. And the final good point I'm really going to talk about here, from what I've experienced and I think has actually made a difference, because there's definitely good points that have just kind of gone under the radar, but the last big improvement I feel has been made is a lot of the bugs I was having. Not that I honestly didn't have that many bugs. I've said this so much, everyone keeps shouting at me. I just didn't have that many bugs with the game, but a lot of the ones I did have, the really annoying ones, seem to have been fixed. Stuff like taking damage when I'm opening vehicle cars, I haven't had that in a while. Hopefully that's been fixed. My weapon wheel seems to be a bit more, well, it's sticking around a bit more, which is good. And just a lot of the really annoying bugs for me have gone. Not that, again, I had many of them, but I'm seeing that the game is just a little bit more polished now, which is a good thing for sure. But now I want to talk about the bad bads / the sad sads, because quite frankly there's a couple of them, and they're quite big ones, and what hurts the most is these are the ones I really wanted to be improved. So first off, the aiming system for the game. I don't know if it's better, I would more just call it different. The game's aiming system now, it's just a bit different. It's not necessarily great, and it does feel like, as Mr. Saints Godzilla said, enemies have a sort of force field around them and it's hard to shoot. It wasn't particularly good before, so I mean, it is what it is. But I don't know if I would call this a direct improvement, more of just a change. And you may love it, you may hate it. For me, I'm impartial on it. I don't think it takes away from the game, but I don't think it really added much either. I just think it's a change for the sake of change. And again, it's not me trying to shit on the game, it's just the truth. I just don't feel the aiming is really anything else other than different. So, the big one for me though, and I can't lie, this is what really disappointed me, is one of the few things I was hoping to be improved upon was the amount of NPCs. It was one of the things that was kind of discussed to be improving, and at least in my experience with the game, it hasn't changed at all. The NPCs are identical, it's the exact same, and it sucks, quite frankly, because one of the things I think would really save Santo Ileso, because it is a beautiful map, is having a bit more life to it. And I just feel that the streets are just as empty as they were before. Now, in the patch, they actually didn't address any of the, like, in the actual patch notes, they didn't address the NPC density. They just said they fixed a bug with NPCs not spawning after a certain amount of playtime, which makes me think that the original, like, tweet talking about it, maybe I misinterpreted as the NPCs being added, but in fact was just the NPCs being fixed. But either way, I'm a bit gutted that the NPCs weren't added and improved upon, and I can't lie, it was one of the things I was really looking forward to experiencing and seeing Santo Ileso evolve as, and it was one of the things I was looking forward to, because it's one of my biggest gripes with the game. So yeah, it was definitely a little bit gutting to see that. But, you know, those are the two things I think really sucked about the whole thing, and, you know, there's definitely a few more good points. I like what they're doing with the criminal ventures too, and I like the whole tier thing. Quite frankly though, what I will say is I think the game is in a better state after this patch. Don't get me wrong, just because I'm upset about the two things doesn't mean that this is a bad patch by any means. It's a mega patch, it was insane. So I'm hoping that the game now can start to be added with content, you know what I mean, add more content to the game, and hopefully now it's at a foundation where we can improve upon it instead of fixing it. And I'm hoping that now we have a bit of a stable foundation to go upwards instead of just trying to fix the foundation we're on, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I think the game's in a good state for the DLCs to eventually come out. Obviously, I want them to be bug-free, so they can take their time, but I think the game is now, it feels okay. I would appreciate some more fine-tuning of the aiming, because it is definitely one of the bigger issues, and I don't think it's satisfactory, quite frankly. I'd say it's just poor. Like it's again one of the small gripes I have with the game, but the aiming system just it's not very good. But besides that, I like the new notoriety system. I like the tier system for like the districts. I like the criminal ventures enhancements. It's been improved upon, and I can definitely appreciate that. So the patch is not bad. A couple things I wish were changed, but besides that, it's overall a pretty decent patch, and I can't wait for what the future of Saints Row has. I think if they were to fix the aiming, make it a bit more satisfying in the next update. I think if they were to improve the NPCs again, like I said in the next update, I'd be more than happy with Saints Row as a product. You know, it's starting to really evolve, and obviously there's certain things that cannot be patched, like the story's writing and stuff. That's not stuff that can be patched, but what can be patched, it seems to have been, for the most part. There's still bits that need work for sure, but it's definitely just been improved upon. And one small thing I do want to discuss briefly, because I've spent some time working on this video and talking about the big things instead of just covering everything. I wanted to talk about the things I think really impacted the game, but I saw a lot of people acting like Saints Row lied about what this patch is, and that they're really disappointed and they were blatantly misleading fans and lying. I don't see that at all, okay? They explained very clearly that this is not a content update. It is just fixing the foundation. So I saw like a video talking about how the game is still not fun. You know, the game's not fun, and it's like, well, why would a patch that fixes bugs really change that? Like, if you don't find the core game at its core fun, then it could be the most flawless experience in the world. It's not fun. So I think that, you know, saying that Volition or Deep Silver was lying when they updated the patch and they were misleading, it's just false, because, well, they told you what you were getting and you got it. And I saw that, and it really made me feel kind of just weird and confused, because I was like, well, how can you say Saints Row's misled you when they explained exactly what the patch is? It's one of those things, I guess. People, you know, they do their own thing. I also want to quickly, before I end the video, address a little mistake I made in one of my videos talking about the merge with Gearbox. This is something I didn't actually plan to tack onto the end of the video, but I recently learned today that Deep Silver still holds the Saints Row IP until the next title is released. So until the next Saints Row game comes out under Gearbox, Deep Silver is still in charge. So for anyone acting like, you know, Volition shut down, and, you know, there's certain YouTubers out there that love that saying, no, not really. Deep Silver is still in charge of Saints Row. Saints Row is staying the same as it is until the next title is released, and that's that. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, then subscribe and all that boring stuff, and I'll see you all next time, guys. Shit, I totally forgot to mention that the voice pitch slider is absolutely fantastic, and that's a huge enhancement. Sorry, bye again.